Hello and welcome back to Foos Entertainment. This time for my next review. I'm trying to make these reviews to kind of spread out a little bit during October 2020 because we are doing our big Return to Friday the 13th event, which will start on the 15th of October. So which will include the brand new box set, obviously, that comes out on the 13th. So that's why I'm spreading these out somewhat. Well, let's go on to our first film. First, let's unveil the Hannibal Lecter Collection box set. This is another cheap box set from 20th Century Fox when they owned MGM. Now, what's interesting is that not all these films are released from MGM. They acquired the rights, for example, to Hannibal, which I believe was released from Universal. I had to check on that, but I'm pretty sure that it was. But the first film we're going to talk about is a hidden gem, one that a lot of people don't even consider as a Hannibal Lecter movie, due to the fact that if we think of the Hannibal Lecter films, you think of Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter instead of Brian Cox. But the first film we actually had that introduced the world to Hannibal Lecter was the original adaptation of the first book, Red Dragon, by Thomas Harris, which of course will be later adapted again into the last Hannibal Lecter movie, Red Dragon, which is a prequel to the Silence of the Lambs. But the first film was actually 1986 with the film Manhunter, which of course starred William Peterson from CSI Las Vegas and Joan Allen from films like Face Off and Death Race, as well as quite a few others. Yeah. Now, I do know that there is a Scream Factory release of Manhunter, which has a director's cut of the movie and much better transfer and much better audio, but this is not bad. First, my opinion on the movie. My opinion on 1986 Manhunter. 1986's Manhunter, to me, is a very psychological and very well crafted suspense movie slash sort of horror slasher film. It is definitely, I'm not sure which one's closer to the novel Red Dragon from Thomas Harris, but I would have to say that from a novel perspective, I have to say that the TV series Hannibal was probably closer to that book than any of the movies. But I really did like this film because I thought it had a good fast pace to the movie. I thought it really, every character was perfect. And a very interesting choice of actor to play the character of Will Graham. But also, even more so, was the choice they had to play the Tooth Fairy Killer, also known as Donnerhide, I think was his name, the killer's actual name. I always forget his name. It doesn't tell me on the back of here, but I do recognize the actor who plays him. I may be wrong about this, and if I am sorry, but I'm thinking I'm probably right on this. The actor who played the character of the Ripper in the Arnold Schwarzenegger film Last Action Hero, and the villain from the second RoboCop movie, I believe is the actor who plays the Tooth Fairy Killer in Manhunter. But what I really liked about his performance was the fact that it really was more haunting than Ray Fiennes' version of the Tooth Fairy Killer in Red Dragon with Anthony Hopkins and Edward Norton, which I will not be reviewing. because I don't have it in Blu-ray, and I would like to really have the movie in Blu-ray to review it for you, rather than watching it on Netflix. But if you guys do want to watch that film, it is on Netflix. But let's go into the plot of the film. The plot of the film is pretty simple. A retired profiler, detective, or as I say, former detective, retired detective, wherever you want to call him, Detective Will Graham, is living on retirement after pretty much bringing in the Chesapeake Ripper, a.k.a. Hannibal Lecter, to justice, at the cost of getting injured beyond recognition to where he can never work in the force again. He's approached by Agent Jack Crawford of the FBI to take a look at evidence of 3 multiple murderers. Yeah, 3 multiple murders that happened with which the families were all murdered in very bizarre ways by a serial killer that they're referring to as a Tooth Fairy. He's reluctant to get involved back into this because he loses his mind, because he literally enters the mind of these killers, because he's a profiler. And what profilers do in real life, as well as in this movie, is they actually take on the identity of the killers in which they are pursuing. He doesn't want to do this, but he feels that he has a need to do it to prevent the horror from happening to another family. And so he takes on the case, and slowly he finds he can't do it alone. So he confronts his demons to kind of, reignite his detective mind by visiting the notorious serial killer that he put in prison. He almost cost him his life, Hannibal Lecter. But this is the one time that he's not played by Anthony Hopkins in the movies, but actually played by Brian Cox. And obviously, Hannibal Lecter starts playing little games behind the scenes, talking to the serial killer that is at large, the Tooth Fairy killer. And we discovered that the Tooth Fairy killer is getting obsessed with our detective as well, to where he's even hunting his family. And in the end, he takes him down. Now, in this movie, he takes him down when he stops him from killing a blind co-worker. So the Tooth Fairy killer, or Donner Hyde, if you want to call him that, has been having sort of like a romance with. And then he kills him, obviously, and moves on. And that's pretty much how the movie ends. So, like I said, quick version for the synopsis of the movie. Now, in the movie Red Dragon, he doesn't get the killer. He doesn't kill the killer how he does in this movie. The killer actually does invade his house, and he has to protect his son and wife and shoot the killer at the end of the film. And that might be a way it is in the book. I don't know. It's very hard to say. All right, well, quality. This is not the Scream Factory release, so obviously the quality is mundane. It is a very basic remastered version, not really restored all that much, just remastered from the DVD versions of the film that existed before it. So don't expect too much. Lots of warm color temperature, lots of grain on the screen, because it has not been restored at this point in time when this box set was released. It's easy to find this box set. It's not so easy to find the Scream Factory Collection Edition of the movie, Manhunter. Which is why I have this box set. But yeah, warm color temperatures, lots of grain. Looks like a product of its time. Looks like a 1986 movie, but a very good 1986 movie. The audio, believe it or not, is not bad in this movie. It contains a 5.1 DTS HDMA sound presentation. The film is presented in a 2.35.1, and I might add, literally a 2.35.1, which is uncommon for Blu-ray, for a film to actually have this 100% original CinemaScope ratio of 2.35.1. It's very cool when that actually happens. Um, the sound was pretty good. It has a lot of stereo stuff in it, but it has very, very good use of sound for a film that was made in 1986 that probably didn't contain the type of sound this film actually has on Blu-ray, but instead contained a Dolby Stereo sound presentation of 4 channels of encoded audio instead of 5 channels of, uncompressed, ever-changing bitrate audio, which is what DTS HD MA is all about, also known as Master Audio. So yeah, a very solid sound presentation for this old classic movie. I would say this is definitely worth a watch in any format, where you're watching in VHS, DVD, or Blu-ray, or if you have a chance to get to where you can watch the very well restored, very well remastered by people that care at Scout Factory, in the Scream Factory release of the collector's edition of Manhunter, which includes 2 versions of the film. The theatrical cut of the film, which is available obviously in this box set, and the never seen director's cut of the film, which is extended, which is also in that set. Maybe one day I'll get that collector's edition, and we'll make a return to compare the theatrical cut to the director's cut. But that's going to be in the distant future, obviously. But those are my thoughts on 1986 Manhunter. Manhunter was directed by Michael Mann. He was a very popular director around the time. And I hope you guys enjoyed my views on the very first Hannibal Lecter movie. And I will see you guys next for my review of the Oscar award-winning Hannibal Lecter film, The Silence of the Lambs. Until then.